English 232, Miss Brewer here for your introductory and week 1 lecture video. So hopefully you have navigated a little bit through the course, but I'm just going to take you through Moodle's webpage and our Moodle page for the class and talk about this week's work. So I'm going to move fairly quickly. I'm not going to read the syllabus to you guys. I expect you to be able to read a syllabus in an upper level English class and digest all of the course policies and information from that. So make sure that you do read that. I suggest you print your syllabus out so that you have contact information for me and for distance education should you have any issues with Moodle, email, etc. So you'll find my contact information here at the top where my office is located, which is in the Waller building across from the Dean's Suite. The times which I'll be available in my office for you, but you can also stop by anytime. I'm usually in here if I'm not teaching. You can also set up an appointment to meet with me virtually or on the phone if you have any questions or concerns. So our syllabus is here. Make sure that you open that and you read through all of the course policies, particularly my course policies, how to email me, what my late work policy is, things like that, how to submit assignments. I use the announcements feature pretty regularly, so I will make announcements. They will show up in this announcements category thing here in Moodle and also to go to your email. So make sure you're checking your emails. So a really important document for you, if you open up the Word document, American Literature Essay Assignments, these are your 2 major essays for the course. So we are reading American literature from, I think, 1800s, early 1900s till today, present day. So it's a really large window of time. So we'll be covering all the periods, all the different reading periods up to today, but you will be writing 2 major essays in this class. So we are focusing on the idea of the American dream, right? We're reading American literature, so we're going to see how is the American dream reflected in the literature that we read. You have 2 different essays. The first essay, I'm asking you to define the American dream, what aspects what are the key aspects of the American dream, where do they come from, and I want you to define it based on the literature. So you're not doing any additional research. Everything for your essays comes from the content in this course. I don't want you to do additional research, Googling or anything like that. Utilizing the literature we're reading, I want you to analyze how the literature we read would define the American dream. So it's not your interpretation of what it is, it's what your interpretation of what the literature says that it is. That's really important. And then of course the second one, we're going to look at obstacles, what makes achieving the American dream difficult, why, and those types of things. Who is it available to? So just be aware of how to write those papers, and I'll go really in depth with that with you the weeks that they're due. But just know that you'll have 2 major essay assignments. One is due on Wednesday, September 29th. The other is due Wednesday, December the 1st. So I'm going to get out of there. You have a little note on how to send an email. Make sure that you do read that and you communicate professionally with me and any of your other instructors. We have an entire discussion forum grading category. It's 25% of your grade, and you guys are doing, I don't remember how many, between 5 and 10 discussions on the different literature that we read. So it's a pretty big chunk of the course. The way that I grade your discussion forums, you need to make sure, first of all, that you're fully answering every part of the question, that you're referring back to the texts. You should be quoting them and citing the quotes and making sure that you're talking about the text that we're reading. Make sure that you're paying attention to the word count. If you don't even meet the minimum of the word count, you're not going to get full credit for the assignment. You will be asked to respond to your peers for the discussion forums. The purpose of this is so that you guys are engaging with the literature, talking to one another, exchanging ideas, and learning from one another. What I don't want to see in those posts is, great job, I agree, the sky is blue. Sometimes it's various shades of blue, okay? That's not expanding the conversation in any way. So your responses should add something to the conversation. Ask questions, give additional examples, pull quotes from different literature or different quotes from from the literature that we're reading. Make connections, okay? Challenge each other. That's what the discussion peer responses are for. They're not to be evaluative. I will evaluate initial responses, so I don't need you telling people about their grammar or they didn't meet the word count requirement or anything like that. I really want you to respond to the content of their initial posts. All of your discussion forums are worth 100 points, so the initial post is worth 50 and your replies are worth 25 each. I will give some pretty in-depth feedback the first week, and then I'll kind of put your grades in, and if you have questions you can reach out and ask, but I will give you guys some pretty in-depth feedback. Okay, so I'm going out of the discussion forum grading. There's a lot of support available for you guys, so if you need help, please make sure you reach out to me if you want to work with a tutor or anything like that, so that I can do a referral for you. We have tutoring here on campus, and you also can do paper drop-off utilizing that little green puzzle piece. If you don't already have Microsoft Word on your computer, you will need it for this class. Both papers will be submitted through Microsoft Word. That's the only format I will accept. No Google, no Pages, nothing like that. Only through Microsoft Word. Grammarly is something you absolutely should be using every time you turn in a formal assignment to me. Utilizing your LCC email, you can get the pro version for free. It's included in your fees. So make sure that you use your LCC email when you set your account up and utilize Grammarly for all of your assignments. So make sure that you watch all the lecture videos, take some notes, okay, while you're watching them so that you're engaged and you don't have to go back and watch it again. I need you guys to complete the enrollment assignment as soon as possible so that you are enrolled into the course. Of course, make sure you're following directions, and if you ever have a question, please reach out. So I want you guys to complete your enrollment assignment. If you haven't already done that, make sure that you pay attention to the word count. Make sure you pay attention to the questions. There's multiple questions in the prompt, and be advised that while this is your enrollment assignment, your assignments for week 1 will not open until the enrollment assignment is complete. So you probably can't see them unless you've already completed your enrollment assignment. They won't open up until you do that. And your week 1 assignments are due on August 29th. So while you do have until the 31st to complete the enrollment assignment, you will be behind if you wait that long. So make sure that you are on top of the reading and you're keeping up with everything. Okay, so I just want to get into this week. So I have a couple of pieces of information for you. You can see how I kind of break everything down in the agenda. You always have usually you'll have a video lecture to watch. Sometimes I'll skip a week if we're doing the same thing for 2 weeks. You guys are going to participate in an introductory discussion forum, so that you can get used to the kind of hang of how discussion forums work and the replies and things like that. I want you guys to read through the overview of literary periods. I want you to read through how to read literature, and your quiz comes from those 2 documents, okay? So make sure you read through those and you understand them. Then for your journal assignment this week, for Journal 2, you'll need to read the Forbes magazine article, Can We Save the American Dream? You'll need to watch the American Dream video, okay? Is the American Dream real? And you'll need to read the poem Harlem by Langston Hughes. This is going to serve as our anchor text, so I want to see Harlem in both of your papers, your formal papers for the class. You can apply this poem to the different pieces of literature we read. You can compare how this poem looks at the American Dream versus the pieces of literature that we're looking at. But I do want to see this anchor text printed out, have it with you. What lines from this poem can you apply to the things that we're reading? Okay, I really want you to use this as the anchor text for the course. It's very short, but it is applicable to every single thing that we read. So that's pretty cool. And I want you to kind of be thinking about that as you read each piece of literature. I want you to think about this poem and how could that poem apply to that literature. Okay, so definitely print that out. Definitely have it with you every week that we look through things. Make notes all over it, okay? Annotate it, and use that for your papers, okay? What else do I have for you to do? So I just want to really quickly talk about MLA with you guys. You should very much already understand MLA format. So go ahead and open up the PowerPoint that I have in there for you. This is a really nice review on MLA formatted papers. I do expect that you are using MLA format. I expect that you are using it properly and that you know how to do so. So remember the basics for the format: 1-inch margins all the way around, Times New Roman 12-point font, double space your entire paper. Make sure your before and after in the paragraph settings is set to 0. You'll need a header at the top right of every page. That's last name, page number. Make sure you're using the header function, insert page number, to do that. You need a heading on the first page only, which is your name, my name, the course title, and the date, day, month, and year. Make sure it's in the proper format. And then you will need a title, and the title should always be indicative of the content of the paper, not the assignment title, okay? Make sure that you indent your paragraphs. So we are analyzing literature. Everything that we read in this class, we are looking at the idea of the American dream and what about this piece of literature could match up with that Langston Hughes poem, Harlem, okay? Think about those things, everything we read in this class, okay? Pull quotes, pull evidence. If you need to print things out and annotate them, do that, okay? So that's really important. This is just how to write a paper, basic paper expectation and tips. I'm not going to read through it for you. You should know how to write a college essay at this point in time, but for my class, make sure that you do review my expectations here. It talks about the body of the paper and what it should look like. It talks about formal academic writing. Do not write with personal pronouns. Do not write with contractions. It is my expectation that you know how to write a formal academic paper. Please be aware that when you write papers in this class, if you turn a paper into me and it does not have citations, it is plagiarized and will receive an F. I don't even read it. So it is imperative that you're citing the work that you're referring to. You can use articles, but remember that for the 2 papers that you are writing, I want you using the literature, which means the articles that I'm providing you can use to back up your analysis. But when I talk about the literature, I'm talking about the works of the authors that we're looking at that week. So like our Forbes article, you could use that as a supplementary resource, but Harlem is the piece of literature that we're looking at. Okay, so remember that when you're writing those papers. And then of course you're required to have a works cited page. Any paper that doesn't have a works cited page is plagiarized and would receive the grade of an F. So that's a really, really quick MLA review for you guys, but you can use that, you can always revisit that PowerPoint, particularly when we get close to writing papers. So just to kind of reiterate, you should have already completed your enrollment assignment for this week. What is due by August 29th. You will need to participate in our introductory discussion forum, and you can review my initial post to kind of model what you want to do. Just want to learn a little bit about you guys and interact with one another, find some common things that we have in common or something like that. You will need to complete the quiz for the overview of literary periods and how to read literature. And you will need to complete Journal 2. The way that you will complete Journal 2 is by reading the Forbes article, watching the John Green video, and reading Langston Hughes's poem. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email, via phone, virtual appointment. You can stop by, but make sure that you ask those questions as soon as you have them so we can answer them and move forward. I am looking forward to some rich discussions in this class. I hope you enjoy the reading that we will be doing and our focused analysis. Have a great week.